Hello everybody, welcome to A Year of Game Design, the video journal where I document my progress learning how to code games every day for the calendar year 2020. We're now at the end of week 20. This is episode weeks 19 and 20. So 140 days into the year. Had a good 2-week stretch. Managed to code every single day over the past couple weeks. So of the year so far, 140 days, I think I've coded 133 of them. So I missed a 5-day stretch in the middle of kind of the pandemic, then a couple of random days after that. But are back on track now with 31 days in a row. So I feel like I'm focused and good. And these past weeks, couple weeks have been pretty good. So I'll talk a little bit more about that on the back end. But let's jump in and take a look and see what I was working on. Mainly spent most of the time, actually pretty much all the time, working on this game called Glitch Garden, which is a Plants vs. Zombies kind of clone. So let's jump in and take a look at that. So this is the basic Unity interface, and again, the board that you can see there, it's kind of a Plants vs. Zombies clone where you're going to drop elements on the left-hand side of the screen as the player, and attackers come from the right-hand side of the screen, or where you can see these blue circles, which are basically the spawners. They aren't visible in the game, but just to kind of help me know where they are when I'm building things here. And so if we take a look at gameplay, I think the last time I'd shown this, it was just at the start, and basically we had lizards moving across. But now we've got a lot of the systems in place. So the lizards are going to spawn in, and you can drop a cactus down, and if the cactus senses the lizard in that path, it's going to fire at it. And then the other mechanism that's in, I can put down a little star generator, and the star generator generates the coins or the stars, the points that you need in order to be able to pay for more things. So we have 800 now. We can put in another cactus, put another cactus there, and there's no collisions here yet between the cacti and the things, and then we can get more points. And you won't start with 1,000. This is a little bit extreme. I'm just kind of testing some things now, but the basic idea. And so the gameplay is pretty much in place. And over the past couple weeks, this feels like, it doesn't feel like a lot of visible work. And sometimes when I don't have that visible work to be able to see, I feel like it's not as rewarding. But this has actually been really good, because one of the things that's this particular element has been working on, and let me pull out a cactus here and just drop it on the screen so we can see it. But if we take a look at this cactus and then open up some of there's an animation state where it's going back between idle and firing. And so a lot of the work, it's been kind of a deep dive into animation, which is something that I didn't understand all that well before this. And then here's some keyframes. So there's an idle animation, and we can basically play that, and it should, yeah, you can see it playing in its idle state. Or if there's an enemy in the row, it should sense that, and then it's going to fire a little zucchini, but you can't see the zucchini fire. It's just testing what the animation itself looks like. But then learning how to trigger events from certain keyframes in animation, and how to getting code to talk to animation to talk to code, and things like that. It's been a deep dive, and it's been a really good explanations, a lot of good conceptual stuff that I just didn't understand before, why you want to do things a certain way. So I felt like it's been really beneficial. So that's been the last couple weeks. Things to still left to do are different types of attackers, I think, different types of defenders. Right now you can put more than one defender in one spot, and that obviously doesn't work, so you got to figure all that out. But it's been really good, and there's been a lot of scripting going on too. I mean, if we take a look at the scripts right now, there are 9, and it's kind of cool to see. I think one of the other things I've noticed is that I'm starting to get how all the scripts and stuff interact with each other. For example, this script here is an attacker script, which is going to go on the lizard to teach it how to attack. This is an attacker spawner, so this is a script that goes on this spawners to control how it pushes out attackers. This is a defender script, so it's going to go on the cactus to kind of control that. This is the defender button, so there's scripts on these 2 buttons down here that help them to toggle off and on when you click on them. Then there's a defender spawner that helps you to kind of place the enemies, the defenders in there. There's health, if an element has health, so that goes on the lizards. There's a level loading script to load the levels. You get the idea. So each one of the different functions in the game has a script that controls what it to do. And one of the places I've really struggled early on is understanding where to put pieces and how all these pieces work together, and how I would even think that way. But I feel like over the last couple of weeks, it's been starting to come together, and I'm feeling a little bit more confident that finally, after about 4.5 months, things are starting to click, and it's starting to make sense for me. So with that in mind, let's jump. I want to take a look a little bit on what I think I'm going to do next, because I think I got about 60% done with this, so I think maybe another week or 2, and this will wrap up. But then what's next? And I'd like to talk a little bit about that. So let's drive on. So yeah, on the whole, the past couple weeks I think have been really good. If you watch the previous episode, I was a little bit frustrated. It had some struggles. I felt like I had to kind of ground through some different pieces of the learning sequences, and just emotionally, I felt a little bit burnt out and wasn't really there. But the past couple weeks, excuse me, have been the exact opposite. I feel like I've been really looking forward to working on this stuff. I feel like it's clicking. Still using the Anki for the flashcards and the spaced repetition. That has helped so much because I remember so much of how to do things. So from a mentality standpoint, I'm feeling really strong. I'm actually excited for where I'm going and kind of how much I've been able to learn over the past 4.5 months. I'd like to finish this course, and that's kind of thought I would take a minute or two and talk a little bit about what's next, because I've got a couple of ideas. And one of the big things, I mentioned it I think once or twice in previous episodes, is the types of games I'm making right now aren't the types of games I want to make. It's good for learning how to use the system and learning how to do things, but what I want to make are a little bit more of the simulation and kind of strategy type games. So with that in mind, one of the things, if you think immediately about those types of games, you need to manipulate data. For example, if it's a role-playing game, you have hundreds of quests, weapons, and each one of those quests and weapons and items and characters have information and elements and characters and variables and all this kinds of data attached to the game. Likewise, if you think even of, I know people that watch this play Football Manager. Football Manager has a whole database that you import and clone and then modify as you play your game. And how you read that data and write to that data and manipulate all that information is a key part of that game. So in order to build the types of games, not that I want to build Football Manager, but that type of game where you're working with sets of information and making decisions and choices around it, in order to be able to do that, I need to know how to learn. I need to learn data. I need to learn how to manipulate data, read it in, control it, pull it in, save it, and all those kinds of things. And it's something I don't know how to do. So I've been looking at a couple things. I want to jump over and let me see if I can just do this on the fly. I think I can. Yeah, I'm thinking that after I'm done with this courses. This is Coursera, and if you're not familiar with it, it's an online learning platform designed by some of the best colleges around the world. And most of the stuff is free to kind of audit, and then if you want to do all the quizzes and assignments, you usually have to pay kind of a monthly fee to do a specialization and stuff. And I don't get any money from this. There's other ones too, edX, that I use that I really like. But this is a course here. It's C# programming for Unity, games development specialization. This is one from the University of Colorado Boulder, which I started about 1.5 years ago, but I was really busy and I just wanted to kind of see what it was like because you get a certain free trial. And I said, yeah, I want to come back to this. And the reason I want to do this is because it's a 5-course specialization. And so if I look down here, the 4th course down here, data structures and design patterns for game developers. That's what I need to know. So I'm thinking to do this. I think it's 5 courses. They say it takes like 7 months, but I think I can do it quicker. I think that's if you do one at a time and end one of the first ones. So I think I'm going to sign up for that. I have kind of a 50% work plan for June, July, August. So I should have a little bit more time to work on some of this stuff. So I'm hopeful that maybe I can get through it over the 3 months, and this will at least get me started on learning those data structures and how to manipulate data in games the way that I'll need to be able to do. I'm also thinking to work on this MySQL Bootcamp. MySQL is basically a language and a way to organize data. I'm probably butchering that, sorry if you know more, in all kinds of applications. And the things that you do there, I think, would be helpful in also manipulating data structures within Unity. And I know there's a way you can use MySQL and Unity and run them together as one application. So my other thought is to do that and to see how that goes. So that's, I think, the next plan after this is to kind of bring in some of this stuff. And so with that in mind, I'm pretty excited about it. I think getting closer to being able to build stuff that I would want to build. And I've got a bunch coming forward in future episodes. I want to share some kind of rough ideas and some prototypes for games I want to try to make. I've got about 3 or 4 that I'm thinking of right now, and then I could try to pick one of those and see if I can, produce something that would actually be kind of fun to look at and things like that and have people play. Lastly, I did want to say, if you haven't seen, I'll put a link down below. This was like the ultimate honor. I should have mentioned this right up front. But Custard Prophet, if you're not familiar with him, he's a YouTuber. He does a lot of cool stuff with the community. Does Football Manager, does a Tennis Elbow Manager. I think he's got 1 or 2 other saves that I might be kind of missing, and he does a lot for the creator community. He actually took the Tundra Runner game that we made and then made a let's play for like 25 minutes. And when you first start building games, a lot of the games you build, they're just not all that good. They're unpolished, they got glitches and things like that. But he was so patient and so kind of energetic and enthused to play it. It was just such a thrill to make something and then see somebody else play it. So a huge thank you to him. I'll put a link down to that episode. Go check it out. And if you're there, subscribe to his channel. If you like Let's Plays and games and stuff like that, he does a lot of really cool stuff. And especially if you like Football Manager, he's got tons of Football Manager stuff there too. But thank you again. A big shout out to Custard Prophet for doing that. And it was just really, really fun to see someone do that. So thanks again, everybody, for stopping by. We'll be back again. I like the 2-week format better than the 1-week format. So I think I'm going to keep this up. So I'll be back after week 22. Hopefully have a workable, playable version of the Glitch Garden, the Plants vs. Zombies clone. So pretty excited about that. And then maybe even have started in the University of Colorado coursework. So off we go. Thanks again for stopping by. Have a great day. Hope everything is going well with you. If you are doing game design, please share it in the comments. If you got questions or anything like that as well, or tips, advice, I'm all ears. And then if you have enjoyed the episode, please give it a like. And if you are new, please consider subscribing. Thanks. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.